Hey guys, what's up?
Hello!
Doing movie reviews again after all quite a bit of time. And as promised, even a little late, we got for you The Thing.
Bum
Again.
bum bum!
So, yeah, ironically, this was my first movie review, but this time we're not talking about the John Carpenter movie, we're talking about the prequel to it.
Yeah, basically it's like the prequel to people discovering the alien creature. Sorry for the spoiler, that's basically what it is. It's basically the prequel to the original 1980s version of The Thing, only this time we're finding out where he originally was discovered, and then how he got from basically plan A to plan B.
Basically, yeah. So, I was very, very skeptical about this movie when I heard that they made a prequel to The Thing, because several thoughts came to my head. First, CGI, because after all these decades, who's working without it at this point? And secondly, we're gonna mainstream this thing, and that is not gonna go well. That's what I thought. Well, pleasantly
can you explain that?
surprised.
Could you explain that a little bit? Yeah.
What I mean by that, first off, they would throw in plot devices that were not needed. Like, they would throw in a love plot, or some stupid annoying side characters, or, something like that. Something that teens would relate to. But the thing about the movie, ironically, is that it is a very dark and adult film, and it should not be lighthearted at all. Not in any way.
I put it this way, I will not let my kids see this until they're 16.
And of course, CGI, well, I've seen some really crappy CGI and quite a few times at this point, even from current movies, so I was not really looking forward to this. But surprisingly, it was well done, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I will just point out that they brought the original soundtrack back. I think they remixed it a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, the soundtrack for the most part is new, and the theme song from the original movie, it can be heard, but it's not nearly as prominent as it was in the earlier film. But it makes sense that it's not. After all, this is just the build-up to the original movie.
Yeah, the characters are likable in this movie too, though I don't really know any of these actors very well.
No, do I. They're all no names for me, but I was surprised. I liked them.
But you could definitely point out that characters you don't care they die, the characters you hope will die, and then you'll have your hero obviously smack in the face, sort of. But
that's another thing. Yes, we have a heroine actually this time.
I don't mind that though, but
it needs to be pointed out, though, because this is a significant difference from the original.
Yeah.
The original movie had an all-male cast. No women at all. It's the only movie I know where this is actually the case. At least the only one I've seen.
Well, Aliens had a... Oh, wait. Are you talking about all-male roles again?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Granted, an Alien did it similarly, but Ripley wasn't the first movie, so... it had an all-male cast, and all of a sudden they throw in women for a main character. I was skeptical, because I have nothing against women. That's what I mean. What I mean is, I thought they would, cheese it up with love plots and shit like that. Stuff that I would never want to see in a movie like this.
Granted, I think there's only one movie that I could count on being all males, and that would be The Ghost in the Darkness. And there was no women in this entire film until, of course, at the end of the film. But...
Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah, okay. Moving on.
Moving on, anyway. And another thing. In Germany, this thing was rated 16. I was shocked when I read this, because 16 basically meant there could not have been any gore whatsoever. Oh boy, was I wrong. This thing is rated 16? I'd say us fans were very lucky this way. It's much easier getting into the theater now. This is an 18-rated movie. There's no discussion.
No brainer. It's rated R here in the United States. That means basically that you have to be 17 years or older to see it. It does not hold back on the gore. Granted, a lot of it, well, no, not blood in general, but like special effects are CGI, but I'll tell you what, the CGI is so gruesome to look at, even of itself. It would look even 10 times worse if it were animatronics.
Of course, if you know the original with Thing, then you know what you're in for.
Oh, yeah.
At least that's what you're hoping for, I would think.
I felt like I got that from the original. I mean, the original, it gave all of that, and then you have this new prequel, and it basically delivered two, just in a different way.
It did, but it's similar. It's just CGI, but it still worked for me.
Yeah.
They were creative with the effects. But anyway, what's the plot anyway? So, basically, at an Antarctica research site, they discover an alien spaceship, or UFO, whatever you want to call it, buried under the ice. We all know that. They search it, and they find the supposed pilot of the ship. It's still not obvious who really piloted the ship. Did the creature take him over, or was the thing the actual pilot? We will never find out, I think. But the point is, they find the creature, and of course they all treat it like the biggest discovery ever, until somebody is stupid enough to get a little too close to the ice cube, and the creature breaks out.
Well, it was melting. It wasn't the person's fault for the creature breaking out. The fact is, the cube was melting, and nobody kind of predicted that this thing would melt fast enough for it to react and break out of the ice itself. But hello, this is an alien being. Shouldn't there have been a quarantine or something?
I don't know. I just granted, it's been a while I've seen this, so if my memory fails me, that's why I have a backup.
By the way, when was this movie taking place? What year?
I believe it was in mid-'80s. At least that's what I got from
I gotta give the movie credit for that. They really reestablished what the 1980s technology was today during that time period. I was impressed by that. I noticed it.
It doesn't look like a movie that took place these years. That's for
yeah,
sure.
You could definitely tell this is definitely 1980s technology. The computers are low tech to what we know today, and the technology in itself, it's just obviously 1980s, and I love that. Those tiny little things I notice, I just love it.
It's good, because it means they actually care for their movie. They take care that even the slightest detail is fitting. And that's exactly what this movie is. For one of the many times, I actually felt like the movie makers knew exactly what they were doing with this one. It's not just somebody picked up the name and made a random horror movie out of it, or a random sequel, prequel, whatever, reboot, because that's what you get when you put somebody who has no idea what he's doing and let him make the Star Trek reboot. You get a pile of shit. So in this case, they actually knew what they were doing.
Well, you got to remember
and
too.
It's a good movie.
You got to remember too that the original back then. I mean, you even told me this. That the original did not get enough credit. The 1986 version, it was overshadowed by E.T. and a few other movies that were released before it, and it just got overshadowed and didn't get the credit it deserved.
The thing's fame came from the DVD sales. That's when it started becoming a cult classic, and it deserves it. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and I think there's a lot of people who share that opinion with me. But, of course, we were all skeptical about this one, so we're not going to give away the ending. But I can guarantee you a couple of facts. The creature is just exactly what it was in the first movie, but they were a little more creative here. Like, for example, if it imitates a life form, it is unable to imitate
metal.
Anything that's not organic. So, yeah, like
anything plastic.
How did they do it?
They said anything plastic, anything metal. It couldn't imitate. It can only imitate the perfect organism of what it's copying. So, I guess there were some. The characters basically put that fact to use, which is a little different from the 1986 version.
Which leads to a scene that reminded me of a scene from the original movie where they used a blowtorch to test blood samples. They did a bit of a different thing here.
Instead they looked through at, well, that would be revealing. I'm sorry. They basically they did the same thing in the 1986 version did, only that they used this fact that this thing doesn't imitate metal. They used that to find out who the creature was, or who was the creature. So, yeah, That was brilliant.
Alright, so how's the acting level? Now, I can't really talk that much about the acting, because keep in mind, I only have seen the German version so far. The DVD is still 2 months away, so as soon as I have it, I'll watch the actual version, but for what I can tell from the German version, I thought it was okay.
Okay, I guess in my terms for the English version, the original soundtrack version. Like I said, I don't know any of these actors very well. I'm a little biased because I prefer the bigger actors that we all know. You know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sigourney Weaver, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, all of those.
But you can't always have them. That's a problem.
But that said, like I said, in the movie you could definitely pick out who's your hero, who's the people you want to see dead, and who do you want to see survive, even though they probably won't. So there you go. I would say the acting was decent. I won't call it bad. Mm-hmm. And who am I to criticize? I'm no actor.
And now the part that everybody wants to hear. How are the transformation sequences? Because that's what the original was famous for, apart from its claustrophobic and paranoid atmosphere. I can tell you they are good, considering they're done with CGI. I do see a couple of handmade effects every now and then, but it's mostly props and not unmoving objects. But the CGI, I thought it was well done. It very much looked like something that what the original movie could have been if it was made today.
I have to admit there are times I couldn't watch because it was a little too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot to fathom. So again, this movie is rated 16 here. German parents, please consider your kids. This is not a movie for 16-year-olds.
And any one of the English European nations or London, whatever. It's definitely a violent, bloody, and really grotesque movie. Like I said, if I had a kid, I wouldn't let him or her watch this until they were 16, at least. But it's rated R in the States. That means you got to be 17 or up. So I do not argue with that rating.
That sounds a bit more fitting.
Speaking of ratings.
What rating? Oh, yeah. So what do we rate the movie? Well, the internet says on IMDb 6.4. I say that is absolutely laughable. That is a disastrous rating. What did the movie do to you guys to get bashed this badly? Okay, I know people have different opinions. I respect that, but 6.5, that's barely above average. Are you kidding me? This movie was scary. It had good effects, good acting. What's with the hate?
It was respecting to its predecessor. It was respecting to the movie that it was prequelized of.
I heard two people walking out of the theater with me who said, it was good, but the original is better. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Honestly,
no.
Are you? No, of course surprised. You're not. And I didn't expect this movie to beat the original. I was hoping for it to be just as good. It came really close to. So anyway, get that out of my way. Here's the rating. I give this movie a 9.5. It is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. I have little to complain about. Maybe I don't know there's something about it that keeps it from being perfect. Maybe it's just that I've seen before in a different way. So, as a prequel goes, probably a 10 out of 10, but if I have to be fair, in comparison to the original, which I gave it 10 because it's one of my favorites, it's a 9.5.
I'll give it a 9. Honestly, and sorry I'm trying to rush this because your quality went down pretty badly, but it looks like it went back up. Yeah,
I'm gonna kill you, ISP, at some point.
So anyway, sorry guys about the quality. I'm basically doing the mic recording here at this point because I am no longer with Xeno at this time. I am back in the States.
So we're basically trying to figure out how to do this properly. So if there have been any bad voice qualities during this review, I apologize for that. Blame our
yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's not our fault. So if you haven't seen this movie, check it the hell out. You're missing one hell of a ride. Don't expect too much. And oh, by the way, the ending. Maybe you all know what the ending is, because we've seen the first movie. The ending is top-notch. It could not have been better.
Definitely.
The ending needs additional mentioning, because we all know how the first movie started, right? I'm not going to tell you, because there might be people who haven't seen it yet, but it is just that. It is perfect. The perfect transition could not have been better. So, check it out. A definite must see.
Adios, guys.